kind of balance the Vampire Diaries arc and the original arcs? Some of the characters are Rebecca's starting off on Vampire Diaries, and moving the originals. How much planning is that taking on your part at this point to kind of make sure that these storylines still make sense with continuity, et cetera, et cetera?
It's taking a little bit of planning and a lot of clever smoke and mirrors, truth be told. I mean, as you know, you guys, a lot of you here, know the Vampire Diaries pretty well, and our timeline does not exist. I mean, we committed at the beginning that we would never worry much about holidays and summers, and when it felt natural, we would play that, but if it took 2.5 years to get through 1 year of high school, so be it. That was just the way it was, and so we do give a time jump from the first episode into the second to account for the fact that Rebecca was technically off in Europe with Matt. And so we'll do little things like that to try to keep the timelines feeling like they're mirroring each other without, because we'll never be specific enough about where we are that one will, totally discount the other. And it's going to be a little bit of trickery, but hopefully it'll work.
What are we going to learn about Marcel's backstory and Klaus's relationship and how he became king and all that stuff?
But we're going to unfold a lot of the story over the first season. Starting almost immediately with the second episode, we're going to show some flashbacks of the first time Klaus and Marcel met when Marcel was maybe a 10-year-old boy. We're going to slowly but surely over the course of the run give little pieces of that and see how this friendship was born, what it meant to Klaus, how it ended, and why them coming back together is fraught with so many different emotions of jealousy and love and and loyalty and betrayal. So we dive right in right away.
And what about differentiating the tone between the originals and the Vampire Diaries? Is there any effort to do that, or does it feel kind of like one show?
It feels, truthfully, in voice, it feels similar. Vampire Diaries is very easy for me to write because it's got a poppier flavor, Damon himself is so poppy, and that's what Kevin, of course, did so well, and what I, growing up under Kevin, emulated. And so Caroline Forbes can be yummy and bright and sunny and say, ridiculous things. This is more old world. Half the characters are European. Half of them have been around for 1,000 years. We're in New Orleans, which in and of itself has a voice. It's more gothic for sure. We're gonna let ourselves get away with words and tones that I used to scold some of the writers on the Vampire Diaries and say, rip out all that Game of Thrones Shakespearean stuff. It's too big, it's too much. But here it feels much like it has a place. There's definitely a Shakespearean element to the show. There's definitely a bolder tone to it, and that's really exciting, frankly, to be able to finally do what we always had to stop ourselves from doing on Vampire.
There's a lot of relationships that cross over.
Yes.
There's Rebecca, there's Caroline and Klaus. So how are we going to see those two worlds intersect? I know.
Yeah, look, we have plans as writers for Matt, for Rebecca, for Caroline, for Klaus, in a perfect world, even Catherine and Elijah, to revisit those pairings. We haven't gotten to that section of the story break yet to know if they fit with the other. And then it's you make the phone call oh, you want to do this, but we can really only pay you that, and it's going to mean you working 8 days in a row. So that's when it becomes not out of our hands and it becomes their choice, and we'll see. I'm going to blame them. If it falls apart, I'm going to be well, Candace said that. Yeah.
So the central theme of Vampire Diaries, if you want to look at it where it started out, is two guys fighting over one girl, kind of.
Yeah.
Is there some kind of central premise or touchstone that we'll see emerge in the originals?
Yeah, for sure. And for us, the originals is about, in its own way, a brother, Elijah, who has watched his family fracture over and over and over again for 1,000 years, and has watched, in particular, his brother go so dark and really, really crumble psychologically over centuries, who gets a glimpse of a chance at redemption, not just for his brother, but for his entire family legacy. And everything is going to kind of be built out of him wanting to bring the family back together and reinvigorate the power of this family, that there's a reason they've stayed together this long, in spite of all the terrible things they've done to each other. It's like the salvation of the family unit amidst of a war that is happening over control of a town. opposed to, two vampires trying to control a girl. It's a lot of different supernatural elements trying to win power and control over a town.
How much is the baby going to factor in?
Well, I mean, the baby is the thing. The baby is the smoking gun, the bullet that got fired, the Brechtian bullet. Like, Elijah, that's his catalyst, his call to arms, So it will be the thing that inspires him. It will be what mystifies him. It will be a source of mystery for everybody because, a hybrid baby, what does that mean? I don't know, let's not forget, there's a lot of history of bloodlines all coming into this one child. We haven't even started talking about what the werewolves are going to say about it. So I think as a source of mystery, it'll be a very powerful presence. And then emotionally, as it relates to Klaus as a human, obviously human, but as his humanity, and Haley's humanity, and Elijah's humanity, and Rebecca's humanity, it'll be that kind of mirror, that vehicle that we can all let them look at themselves through and wonder how much they're really willing to care about something or someone.
Last question.
As you've now gone into several episodes into writing these new characters, which one has surprised you the most?
Oh gosh. I'll be honest, and you guys, some people will roll their eyes and some people will be very happy. Haley is thrilling character to write because she's the ultimate challenge. She is a character that we know very little about, who is put in the unfortunate position of being sort of the obviously not the fans' choice for a pairing with any of these people, but is just a lost girl who never had parents that loved her ever. And now she's stuck in a situation where she has to be this mother, and nobody asked her if she wanted it, and yet she's the pawn in the whole chess game. And the idea of being able to explore her and give her a rich, deep life and a deep history has been so much fun for us. And so she's been the biggest surprise as far as opportunity. Yeah.